So I've spent a bunch of money the past few years on outbound tools, and it turns out there's just a handful of them that genuinely add value. So in this video, I'm going to show you the top 5 sales tools, outbound tools you should be leveraging, especially if you're a beginner just getting into outbound to actually see tangible results. So let me get right into the video in 2024. So first up, we have Clay. Now Clay is an interesting one because when I first found out about Clay, I didn't really think I was going to leverage it. I thought it was just overpriced, and me being a custom guy, I could do it all myself. However, Clay is literally the best tool for managing outbound personalization, but also building a list around intent and relevance. There's so many different things you can use on Clay that are built in for free without needing to use the credits, that just allow you to see the type of people in this industry, the type of people that are hiring, all these different things you can use to be able to really leverage Clay and get good results. Also, they have an inbuilt company database as well, so it's easy to find leads. So if I get into it now and just sort of show you how it looks, there's so many things you can build a list from. I mean, you've got local businesses, you've got companies, which is the native one, which is completely free. I believe they use LinkedIn under the hood. You can integrate your store leads, you can pull in leads from your CRM, you can do a bunch of different things. You can even build a list from a Google search. So let's say, for example, you're looking for Instagram influencers. You could do a Google search on Instagram influencers and just go through, traverse the list, put out their usernames, pull out their follow account, and then start to build a list from there, right? There's a plethora of things you can do. Where especially you're new to the outbound space, it's going to be a lot easier than trying to do things custom or make, which you can do, in which I was doing for ages, but it just saves you a bunch of time leveraging a tool like Clay, which was built to do just that. Now, the second tool is Apollo. And Apollo, I was unsure if I was going to put Apollo in, but Apollo is amazing. Apollo is very, very important at certain type of things, right? And I'll show you how it works in my workflow. Apollo has the most accurate data when it comes to finding people at companies, right? Now with Clay, Clay allows you to find companies for free, and it also allows you to find the people at those companies for free. However, the issue with Clay is that to find people, it can't find private LinkedIn profiles, which means that you're going to get a lot less people than Apollo can get, right? So in terms of our workflow currently, we're building, doing whatever we need to do in Clay. We're then exporting that list of domains, putting it through to Apollo to actually get the people, and then we're using something like Export Apollo to bypass the limits to then get that list of decision makers, right? If you want to get decision makers on Clay, like you're not going to get all the people that you would get if you're using Apollo, for example. Also, it has really extensive filters, allowing you to narrow down your list where appropriate. And I'll give you an example. So I had a use case, right, where I wanted to find ecom brands that had a data scientist or a ML engineer, right? And that's kind of weird. You can't do that on store leads. You can't really do that on any tool. What I would have to do is get like 100,000 ecom brands and then go through each one and then try to do it manually, which probably would be expensive and time consuming. However, with Apollo, it literally allows you to filter by employee department headcount. So I've just done data science plus at least one data science. Put in some industries. Now you can get a list of companies that actually have a data scientist, right? Which then allows us to do the outreach we're trying to do. So Apollo is really, really good for this kind of stuff, right? What I would do is I would use store leads, probably to get a bunch of e-com stores, and then throw it into Apollo and then do the filter like this, right? That's what I would do in the future. Now the third one is lead magic. So with Clay, a lot of people go wrong because they churn their credits like there's no tomorrow. They just use their credits for everything. But alternatively, you should be using your native API keys for your provider of choice. So with Clay, Clay say, okay, you could either use your API key for lead magic, or you can use credits for lead magic. But now obviously going and getting a subscription yourself from lead magic is a lot cheaper than using the Clay credits, because bro, Clay credits are like gold dust. So it's really, really important you like keep them as best as you can. So I'll show you how we do that. And at the moment, what we do is, if we set up, I'm not sure how familiar you are with Clay, right? But if you set up a waterfall, what that means is it will use various different data providers to try and find information. In this case, we're trying to find someone's email address. What we do is we make sure that the first try is lead magic, because we are using our own API key. And with lead magic is good enough so that it gets, I think it's the best provider for getting the most amount of emails. So what that means is, if we ever do need to use these others, yes, we're going to use our Clay credits, but by that point, maybe there's only like 20-30% left. So we're saving most of our credits where possible. So we use Lead Magic here, and as you can see, it finds a bunch of them. If it can't, then go ahead and do use the others and use our credits. That's fine. I don't want to have an API key for all of the providers. It doesn't make sense. However, what Lead Magic can also do is it can find the work emails. We can also use it to verify those work emails. So if I come down here, validation provider, you can use Lead Magic as well. Because once you find it, you still need to verify that it actually works. You don't want it to bounce. It's really not good for your deliverability. And also you can enrich company data. So you can put through a LinkedIn URL and it will tell you more about that company. You can put through a LinkedIn person's URL, it will tell you more about that person. So it can do so many things in one, which is why instead of getting Prospeo and Find Email and this and that, just get Lead Magic. It does most of what you need, right? Especially for you guys that are just getting started but are new. There's so much to choose from. Lead Magic is your way to go. Trust me on that. Number 4, Make.com. Make is the best tool for connecting different integrations and softwares together. So in some instances in Clay, they may not have a native integration, but you can use Make to interact the two, right? You can also add in a third and fourth and fifth step to do something really custom. And let me give you a tangible example, right? So what we wanted to do in Make was, in Clay was, we wanted to, once we had someone's domain and their LinkedIn, we wanted to create a Google Doc which was personalized to that person. Now with Clay, there's no integration to create a Google Doc from a template, but there is on Make. So what we simply do is we just send a webhook API call from Clay, which then hits Make.com. It then creates the Google Doc from a template, as you can see here, passing in the company name, passing in a few other things if it wants to load. And then we take that Google Doc that's now been created and then we send it back to Clay, right? So Make just lets you interact with like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of integrations. So especially for someone watching this that's not very technical, you want a tool like Make in your arsenal. And for like $9.99, you can get a good amount of operations. Just use Make. And now the last tool that you should be leveraging in 2024 is none other than SmartLead. Let's go back. SmartLead. SmartLead is the best email sending platform out there, period. It allows you to send emails at scale using multiple inboxes, but also they ensure deliverability is a top priority. You have a bunch of like cold outbound email sending platforms. Some are amazing, like Instantly, others aren't so great. But SmartLead, from my experience and from people I've spoken with, is the best when it comes to deliverability. They have a bunch of things that they do to make sure that our emails actually land in our prospects' primary inbox. If it goes to spam, if it doesn't land, all of those other tools I've showed you are pointless. You could do whatever automation, whatever personalization. If it's not landing in their inbox, it doesn't do anything, right? So SmartLead is the best for that. So 100% check out SmartLead. And now, as you saw before, I want to give 3 honorary mentions to 3 tools that weren't mentioned because I don't think you need to have them, but I will consider adding them. Now, the first is PandaMatch. PandaMatch is a company lookalike finder. So what I mean by that is I can put in a company like, I don't know, like Nike.com, and PandaMatch will basically find other companies like Adidas, Reebok, Puma, basically just companies that are very similar to that company. Okay, so what do I mean by that? If you have a case study with a client that you really, really enjoy to work with, you can use a tool like PandaMatch to find 100 other companies, 1,000 other companies, just like your client, right? So it allows you to reach out to these guys, you know, leveraging your case study and saying we work with guys like you to get through to those guys. Secondly, HeyReach. HeyReach is like the SmartLead, but for LinkedIn. You can use multiple LinkedIn accounts to reach out to people at scale. And LinkedIn is just a lot of the time better in terms of getting replies. It's not as spammy as email, for example. As in, people aren't getting as many LinkedIn messages as they're getting emails. So usually your LinkedIn messages goes through. And it's just a great tool for following up after your email. The third tool, Pitchlane, by my good friend Ryan. Pitchlane is amazing for automated video outreach. So if you have like a website and you have like a doc, you can send an automated video of you speaking one time and it will like change the background depending on what lead you're reaching out to. So yeah, these are the top 5 tools that you need to be leveraging if you're doing outbound in 2024. Try them out. Let me know how you get on. All the best. Speak soon. Bye-bye.